Welcome back to the Bionicle tier list. We have just gotten to Voya Nui, and we are about to rate the Paraka. I was so excited for these sets. I was getting to that age where I almost wanted to stop collecting Bionicle, just because you notice all your friends stopping, having buying toys or playing with them, and you sort of follow the group. But the Baraka actually pulled me back in. I love the look of these sets. I know there are some things wrong with this year. We all know the Paraka rep is Paraka crap, but they look great. The spines, well, that's perhaps the thing. They look great, but they aren't that great. The spines restrict movement. They can bend over time. They can bend in the canister, and I don't like batteries. And I don't feel like the eyes added enough to justify making a part with batteries. I mean, this is just, it's fine back then, but it's just, I don't know. There's something, I don't like the fact you can't change him. I mean, you can, but it's it seems like they're not meant to be changed, so they have a shelf life, which I just don't like. They are better than the Toanuva, without a doubt. This is B. And again, I know some people may think are really the Viscerac and the Paraka on the same tier. Yeah, because the spine just it looks great, but it's not that great. And the Viscerac have a much more interesting function, the pincer function. So yeah, I feel like I can justify this. Now the Voyatoran. Oh. You gotta commend Lego on doing individual builds, but every single build is bad. So I can't give him a very high score. Just a sec, I'm gonna take a sip of coffee. Yeah, this is probably it. They tried to show him some love, but they just look so bad. They're a bad introduction to Voya Nui, and yeah, they belong in D. But the Titans of Voya Nui, wow, they are great. Brutaka, probably one of the best Titans ever released for Bionicle. Vason and Fenrak, also just amazing. I love the idea of Vason and Fenrak. It's something, I don't know. I feel like I've only seen it in Bionicle. This powerful madman riding on top of this incredible monster, and sort of being cursed and with a gift of the Mask of Life. It's so interesting. And the story of the Order of Matanui and Brutaka, and yeah, they gotta. I think they belong in A. They do. They belong in A. Next on to the Toa and Nika. B. And the Anika and Paraka do introduce the Paraka and Anika builds, which are great, but they're just a little bit bland. And the Anika have those weird rubberized masks. And once again, batteries. You can change them in the sword, or at least it's easier, but I just don't appreciate it. I mean, out of all weapons the Toa have had in Bionicle, the Toa Anika swords or weapons are the worst ones to me, because you can't use them for anything else. They really tried with Umbra to use them as a sort of staff piece, or what is it? It's not a staff. is it a bayonet? I don't remember what the official term for it is, but you know, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work to me. So yeah, the weapons really drag him down. The mask drag him down, and the build drags him up. And I love the idea of them. You know, it's the Toa, or it's the Matoran we already know becoming Toa. That's great, and they sort of deserve to be in a. It's just those masks. It's and you know the heads that go with it. Because with up to this point, whenever you take off a mask, you see this mechanical face, which is really interesting, and the eyes sort of glow through the mask or behind the mask, and that's so interesting. And now it just looks like mannequin or yeah. I think they gotta stay in B. Now on to Marinui, and we'll start with the Baraki, which I have to put him in S. I'm not saying there aren't flaws with the Baraki, but wow. Completely unique builds. More unique than anything we've ever seen before. And also, they just look good. The head molds are amazing. They give us some great new parts, like Pridex blades, Mantex feet, Elix sort of claw pieces, hand. I don't know what you call it, and also Elix spines, which is what the Paraka spine should have been. Had they done the Paraka spine in that way, it wouldn't have restricted movement, perhaps, and you could customize it. You could use parts of the spine for something other than a Paraka. But anyways, yeah, it's gotta be S tier. I know some people think they're, Ellig is a bit bare and along with Pride Egg, but I feel like it works for him. It looks right, and for that reason, they gotta go in S. And this looks right when I look at the S rank. Like, these are the highlights of Bionicle. I feel like the best points, the introduction to Matanui, the introduction to Metronui, and the Ignition trilogy. And this is the best part of the Ignition trilogy, I feel like. Yeah, we'll stay here. Next, the Maritoran. Also, just great sets. No question about it. We have to. I mean, they're everything you want out of a Matoran. Unique builds, interesting colors, and the Hydruka, I sort of put them into the same category, but also they are just Matoran. And the Hydruka have a few issues. Yeah, B. Now the Titans, they are great. I mean, Maxilos and Spinex, what an absolutely amazing set, along with Hydraxon. Gadunkas, so interesting. And I know not all people like Karsani, but I think it's a really interesting build. Even though he doesn't look like the Karsani from the book, I still like it a lot. I feel like 8, yeah, it's got to be 8 here. Because Maxilos and Spinex, along with Hydraxon, they reach the same level as Brutaka, I feel. I mean, Brutaka may be a slight bit better, but they're more... Overall, they're more interesting sets here. So, yeah, we'll keep it here.